So today we're going to do a DPS tier list. This is going to be both hit scan and flex DPS. We're going to combine it into one. There are over 60 players in this list. And we have S through D plus some no play time for a couple of people. Just because there are some guys that you probably wouldn't want to rank on here because they either didn't play at all or not really enough. And on top of that, my explanations, I'll kind of go about it when I think it's necessary. There's obvious ones, not so obvious ones. I'll try and justify all of my choices the best that I can. I will also leave a link to this tier list in the description. If you're watching after this video goes live, if you're watching in the video instead of the stream. Also, for my people in the stream, I'll give you guys a tier list if you want to play along. There you go. I'll pin that up top for y'all. So yeah, we're going to get right into this, I think. We have over 60 players, and if I forgot anyone, I'm sorry, but I did my best, made this tier list myself. Let's do it, baby. Let us do it. Feel free to play along. So, we're starting off strong with this 2022 tier list with alexyOWL of the Hangzhou Spark. And he played pretty well. Whenever the Spark had their good moments, he was very relevant. I don't really think you can complain about the way alexyOWL played. Pretty versatile hero pool. Really good 1-2 punch with Shy. He played very well in the playoffs. The first half of the season when the Spark were good. Very noticeable on Genji, Echo, Torb, whatever it may have been. Consistent. Not top tier. But yeah, I'm probably going to agree with chat on this one as a solid A tier. High B, you could also argue for sure. I think like an A- is pretty fair for alexyOWL, especially with this playoff push at the end, so that's where we'll put him. Next is going to be Although of Toronto Defiant. And he was just, probably like a C tier. He wasn't anything special. His Genji had its moments. His Mei was like okay at times, I think, as well. He wasn't much of anything. When Toronto went on that hot streak during that one tournament, he did pretty alright for them, but not really that impressed with Although. Just okay. That's all I really have to say. Next is going to be Ans. Yes, I do have people who either left mid-season or retired. We're including all of them. And Ans was, like, decent. He was more so of, like, a specialist at times. His Widowmaker was still as solid as ever. That's mostly all he played, though. He played, like, a decent bit at the beginning of the season. He's a good sniper. I can't really complain with how he played. It was just fine. He's like average, maybe slightly above average. He had his dominant moments. But obviously the team was better when they're playing Patty Pan. I think that kind of plays a role into it. They didn't like how I played on Sojourn either. But I think like a B- or like a C+ is where I'd probably put him. We can make adjustments later on, of course. For now, I'll say a B-, but I might put him in C later. This, I believe, is Aprita. He never actually played, sadly. So that is a no play time. I wish we got to see him play because there's a lot of hype around him, but no, life sucks. Chengdu Hunters were in an unfortunate spot. So no play time for Aprita. This is Architect. Architect didn't play that much, but when he did, he was kind of bad. I feel pretty comfortable putting Architect in the D range. He didn't do anything. You could put no playtime, but there were a couple of times where he like played Genji and he wasn't good. I'll give it to him. I'll give Architect a D. He's kind of out of his prime at this point, to say the least. Can't keep up with the big guns anymore. It ain't 2019 anymore, that's for sure. He did play a lot of support, though, as well, but... Oh, well, you could say no playtime as well. Either or. It doesn't really matter. He's not going to be ranked high regardless. Aspire. Pretty underrated player. Underappreciated. I thought Aspire was like a solid B-level player. I'll put him above Hans, sure. I really liked the way that Aspire played this year. He carried hard on the Sojourn. Definitely. He looked elite at times, but the team around him wasn't very good. You know, that's the unfortunate thing. That's why I don't really feel comfortable putting him any higher. The Titans weren't doing that well, and I mean, maybe he could have done more, sure, but I thought he was good. I thought Aspire was fine the way he played, but I don't know if I consider him to be like an A-tier level player. I think a B+ is like reasonable though for him. You know, A-, B+. He wasn't bad or anything. You know, I'm not insulting him by putting him in B+. He did good though. His sojourn was amongst one of the best in the league, IMO. And I think with a better team around him, especially in this upcoming season, we could see Aspire really take his game to another level. Excited to see what he can do. Next we have Assassin, who didn't really do much to stand out. He felt pretty average. He did his best on the Genji. That's all you can really remember him for, though. You know? He's alright. I feel pretty comfortable giving Assassin like a C. I put him in that like same range as like Although, like, you know, Finale, where he just does his thing. He's not going to be the worst player in the lobby, but he's certainly not going to really catch your attention either. That's just how he was this year. He wasn't really supposed to play anyway until that Justice nonsense happened with having to change their team at the very last second. So, I'll give him a C. Why not? Backbone. Pretty versatile player for London Spitfire. Surprised me. I was always a big Backbone fan in his Contenders days, but man, did he really do a good job. His Mei was excellent. He was even flexing on things like Widowmaker. He did a little of everything. I thought Backbone did a very good job as a solid supporting piece next to Hottie and Sparker. I'm leaning towards B. You could say A. Again, I might change things after. I think I'm going to give... I'll put him at B+ for now. And I'll see what happens later as we kind of continue to add players to the list, because there's definitely going to be things I change my mind on. So we'll just put him there for now, and I'll move him if I find it necessary. Next is who? Becky? I liked Becky. I thought Becky kind of carried the Valiant, like, low-key at times. Especially when the Valiant picked things up in, like, the second half of 2022. I liked how he played on the Echo and the Tracer. He didn't really play badly at all, considering the supporting cast around him. Him and Easy Han put in a lot of work. I think B for Becky is something I agree with wholeheartedly. We can put Becky just like right there. That's fine. Becky did good, all things considered. It's the same situation as Aspire in a way. I mean, Aspire was more explosive, but, you know, around that same range. What's up, Thor? Carpe. Yeah, Carpe. It hurts my soul to say this, but Carpe was not very good. You could tell he was kind of at the end of his time in the league. He lacked motivation, to be honest with you. I think at the beginning of the season he was fine. Hello, William. But man, during the playoffs he looked bad. You could tell he didn't want to be there anymore. He was a bench player, and that says a lot, considering what he used to be. Carpe was not very good statistically. Carpe didn't really have a lot of highlight level plays like you're used to. But I think at the beginning of the year, he like did enough. I don't really consider him to be like what Architect did. I'll give him like a C. Like that, sure. And trust me, as more people get into C, he will be on the lower end of C. I promise you that. He did fine at the beginning and then fell off and was benched. That's how I see it. Next shall be Checkmate. Another underrated player that people do not give enough love to. Let me tell you. Checkmate was excellent. I thought that his Genji was absolutely nutty. Probably one of the best Genjis in OWL, IMO. His Reaper in playoffs looked pretty good. What else did he play? He played like everything, really. Tracer, like what could this guy not do? I was a big Checkmate fan, and I'm very impressed with how much he progressed in a short amount of time. I thought him and Hydron worked very well in unison. I think Checkmate deserves an A. I don't really know if I want to put him above alphayi. It's hard to say. They're very similar. I think for now, I'll probably put him above alphayi. I think Checkmate overall had more... This is the way to think of it. Overall, he had more seasons, my god. More games throughout the season where he was noticeable. It's not entirely alphayi's fault because the Spark, went through some big struggles, but he could have done more to help. The Drippy Rizzler bottom right. That is psycho. I could not find a owl picture of him, so I had to settle for this. We'll get to him later, though. Checkmate was more consistent. Sorry if you hear my dog barking, by the way. This is Develop. Develop was not good. I think we can all say that for sure. The Charge were way better without him. I'm just going to put him right in D. We're not going to beat around the bush here. Develop was not good. D for Develop. I feel pretty comfortable with that. Oh, is that Choice A1? Oh, wait, Develop's over here. My bad. This is Develop. Sorry, chat. This is Choice A1. God, I'm mixing names up. It's because Decay's right there. That's my bad. My bad. This is Choice A1. If we're talking Choi is, again, I keep bringing up people that didn't get enough love, but we're just on that train right now. Choice A1 was a beastly player. Even when the Charge were absolutely awful, much like Aspire, you could notice Choice A1. Genji was out of this world, a mean Tracer. I appreciate what Choice A1 did, and when the Charge finally started to pick it up, he was their obvious leader still. He was always the guy that led that pack. He did everything in his power to keep that team in the race for a playoff spot. Very impressive stuff from Choi. Nothing but love for this man. So, I think, I gotta think about it like this. Would I take Choi over Backbone? Yeah. Would I take Choi over Aspire? Yeah. Do I consider Choi to be around alphayi's level? Yeah. I think high B, he's either high B or low A. I'll stick him in high B for now, but I'm thinking he might be low A. I'll keep him there for now. No, maybe I'll put him low A, actually. It's hard. Man. I'll put him low A. For now. But I might change after. I'm trying my best to not get too much help from you guys, by the way, chat. No offense to you, but I gotta try and keep my opinions to myself here, Decay. I think Decay was like a solid B. I think some people are still overrating him somehow. I don't know how, but Decay did fine this year. I thought he was okay, but I think people are heavily overrating him. He was meh. He was inconsistent. I think there were times where he was good, but then there are other times where he was missing big shots, or he was contributing somewhat to his team choking, and obviously not all his fault, but I feel like there are times where he could have done more. He looked cracked in some situations on the Sojourn and the Tracer. I'm very impressed that he was able to move from like the Tracer role to Sojourn and just do it like it was nothing. That was very impressive. But there are other things where I was like, could he have played a better Genji? Yeah. Was he inconsistent at times? Yeah. Not all his fault, but I think Decay is like a B player. Maybe like upper B. Around this range. Somewhere around here. We can change it after. This is Dia, right? I think this is Dia. Right? Okay, Dia, wait. Actually, now that I think about it, Dia, no, he did play more DPS. No, I can't say he's a tank player, because he definitely played more DPS. No, he's a DPS player. I thought Dia, when he played Deeps, was good. There were times where he looked damn good, like on Widow, like he was out sniping like MN3. Was fine on like Reaper, Soldier. I appreciate the way that Dia played in a rotational system. I think he's either like a high C or a low B. I think a low B is pretty fair for Dia. I think Dia matched very well with some of the APAC DPS when given the opportunity to. So, B minus. This is Doha. Some might argue not enough playtime because there was a lot of sparkle in Edison. Doha was mostly a specialist. Thor with the 36 months, 3 years. Thank you so much, Thor. If you do this again, you should make polls to see what chat thinks as a whole. I mean, we could do that after this. If you guys are down, we could definitely do that. But Doha, the topic on hand, Doha, he played Sombra during that short time she was meta. He also played some Genji, and he never did poorly. He also played some Soldier 76, and he did good in that role as well. Thank you again, Thor. Did I think he was more impressive than, like, Assassin? Yeah, kind of. He's probably, like, an upper C or a lower B. He did the job. I think lower B or, like, a high C is very fair for Doha. He's a specialist in some regards for sure, but he always did what the team asked him to do, and he did it well. So, you know, for that, I'll give him a B minus for now. Or maybe a C plus after. Yeah, I appreciate Doha. Underrated player. Hoping he finds a new team. Yo, Lopez. Good to see you, man. This is Dove. I don't have much to say about any of the Paris players, if I'm being honest with you. They're all kind of grouped into the same mess together, but they just didn't do anything. I thought he was probably one of the more impressive players on on Eternal for what it's worth. But I'm gonna give him like a high D. D for Dove, yeah, sure. Edison. I think Edison's a solid A after how he played in playoffs. Generally, second half of the season, Edison is on fire. Even in the first half, to be honest, he did his job on the Reaper. I don't quite think of him as S tier, but I think an A is pretty fair for Edison. He was quite dominant, especially in the second half of this year, and he played a pivotal role in Dallas winning the finals, so I think an A tier is exactly where he belongs. He was great. His playoffs were S++, though, but overall A. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Who do I got in these NFL games? I'm going with the 49ers and the Bengals. This is Eileen. Didn't really play, so Eileen, no playtime. Yeah, no, I don't think of Edison as an S tier, because that's just playoffs. Like, yeah, he was good in playoffs, but it was like 4 games. I can't base his entire ranking off of 4 games, you feel me? This is Easy Han. This man has some very large ears. So, Easy Han, I thought, was pretty underrated, to be honest with you. I thought his Sombra was pretty good. His Sojourn was kind of cracked. He's kind of good, man. I don't know. I like Easy Han and how he played. He popped off. I give him a lot of credit. That the Valiant DPS line was like the, well, no pun intended, the backbone of their team. Not like backbone as in the player, but you get what I mean, like the core. Poor word choice, but yeah. It depends on, I think... Okay, if I'm putting Dia in B, I probably have to put Easy Han in B. I think Easy Han and Becky were both excellent players. Who did I like more? Yeah, I kind of liked Becky slightly more, so I'll put Easy Han there. God, it feels so weird putting Valiant players so high up. I'm not used to this. It's been a while. Backbone to Valiant leaked. This should be Finale. And I literally just think of him as, although it's like the same thing to me, honestly. I thought Finale was also pretty mediocre. Playoffs and all, like even not playoff push, tournament push, you know, it wasn't really there that much. I thought Finale was pretty just average. Very average player. I left feeling unimpressed. Also, fun fact, when I was trying to compile player pictures for this tier list, on the Overwatch League website for the Defiant roster, instead of having Finale's face, they had their coach. They had KDG, and it said Finale. It was a picture of KDG, so that was interesting. Don't know why I was that scuffed, but, you know. Fitz. Fitz, I thought, was pretty good. I don't think people talked about him enough. I mean, there were times where, like, Stalker played ahead of him on Sojourn, which was, like, a little weird. But my man played well. I think he kind of got overshadowed by Prophet and Smurf, you know, from time to time, which is understandable, all things considered. I think Fitz is, like, a solid A-tier player. I know some people are probably going to be like, what the heck did he do? He was so bad, blah, 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 blah. But he was consistent. Fitz was always consistent. I think Fitz is an A-. Fleta. Oh, Fleta. It's kind of in the same area as Carpe, where he kind of lacked the motivation. It just wasn't there. I felt like there was no fire. There was no fire with how Fleta played. His numbers weren't the worst, but I don't remember Fleta doing anything at all, man. He was probably, I mean, he even got benched, you know, he wasn't good enough to play in a Genji meta. Who are you? He was just getting a lot more playtime. So, I think Fleta's going to be in that same range as Carpe. He's probably a little better than Carpe. I could put Fleta here, I guess. Sure, yeah, Fleta wasn't good, though. Oh yeah, Thor, time to open up After Effects. Keep an eye on chat, BTW. Everyone's being chill, but if you see anything that is, like, you know, weird, definitely, you know, lay down the hammer. I'd appreciate it. You have my permission. Flora. Flora was like a C tier IMO. Not a fan of how Flora played. Disappointing. And by no means all his fault. But man, oh man. I mean, you could even argue he was like low C, honestly. I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's because he was sharing the spotlight with Yaki or because New York were just awful, but I just didn't see it. He wasn't playing at the level I expected him to. I expected him to still be at like that borderline, almost role star level, and he took a dip. So, yeah. This is going to be Glister. Glister only played like one stage, didn't he? Right? Wasn't it only the first stage? Or was it even all of the first stage? He did not play a ton. I remember him just like, what, he played like Soldier. That's about it. Did not get much time, but they played well they were in. Maybe I mean, what do you think, chat? Do I rank Glister or is it just not worth it? With how little he played, is it worth ranking Glister? I don't know. Glister C, not enough time played for anything higher. That's fair. Glister gets the we miss you tier. True. Glister was very, very high stats. Glister played 3 hours. 3 hours is pretty decent. I'll rank Glister then. I mean, he's not going to be very high. Like, he was fine what he did play, but didn't play enough where I was, like, wowed by him. It's just, like, around here. It's whatever. Sure. You know, whatever. Glister did his best, but Paris were stinky. I can't really rank him high because he just wasn't really there. This should be Grio, I believe. And I think Grio gets a solid D tier. Grio was kind of bad. IMO. I know it's not exactly a hot take, but Grio was very unimpressive. Oh yeah, obviously. Oh, my bad, guys. Grio's S tier, of course. He's the best player in the league. But yeah, in all seriousness, Grio was not good. He was supposed to be a developmental piece. They tried playing him at times over Edison, and he just wasn't as impressive. He had a couple of highlight plays, but you really didn't notice him. Next is the greatest player of all time, Haker, S tier. Moving on, JK. Haker did not play single map. Don't even know why the Valiant signed him. That was like the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So, the Sombra got himself no playtime. Obviously an S tier, though, in our hearts. S tier in our hearts, chat. S tier in our hearts. I heard somewhere Haker like barely even got paid. I don't know how reliable that information is, but that's what I heard. Happy. My boy Happy. In my opinion, Happy had his most consistent and solid season he's ever had. Which sounds crazy because he's had other really fun seasons to watch. But consistency-wise, he was there. He was on point this year. Washington, even on Gladiators, he did great. Innovation didn't get paid. Oh, is that so? Dang. Yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about Happy. Probably one of the most underrated Sojourn players. His Widow's, still godly. I was happy with how Happy played. That sounds really stupid to say, but that's the truth. Actually, I do have Exy. He is in a Dallas uniform. Because they did not have him in a Florida uniform. Where's Jinmu? Oh god, he might not be on here. That's unfortunate. I think I forgot Jinmu. That sucks. Anyway, Happy is like in the same range as Fitz. Like around here. I thought Happy was good. I can't believe I forgot Jinmu. I felt like I was forgetting someone. I just knew it. I knew I was somehow forgetting someone. Just crop him on the stream. I mean, I could. Technically, I could. Hang on, chat. If you miss Jinmu, I got your backs. Hold on. Jinmu. Chengdu Hunters. The guy in the hoodie is Psycho. Because he did not have his owl picture. Okay, and then I do that. And then I'm going to add a image. Where you at, Jim Boy? Oh wait, hold on. Hey, let's go. Easy. We'll keep him there for now. We'll rank him after when we get to him. We didn't forget about you, Jinmu. Jinmu is the streamer now, Pog. We'll get to him soon when he's supposed to be up. Next will be Hisu. I thought Hisu was a solid A-tier player. He carried Toronto Defiant. Let's not beat around the bush. Hisu was nasty. One of the best Ashe players. Good Sojourn. Good Sombra. What could he possibly do, like, any more of to carry this team? Mans deserves to get a bag, and I really hope that rumor of him going to the Shock is true. Yeah, he was diffing people who are playing Sojourn as Ashe. Like, enough said there. Enough said. I'll give Hisu, like, run there. Hydron. Hydron's an interesting one. I'm curious to hear your opinion on him, chat. Because there were times where he was, like, a borderline A tier. Man was pretty consistent. He even, benched Exy, which is a statement, in my opinion, to bench someone of that caliber. Really good on the hit scan roll in general. There are times where he was diffing some damn good players in this league, High B, low A, high B, low A. Low A, easy. Top of B. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Why is Jinmu just there? We forgot to add him, so I cropped him in because I'm a Chad, and I did it for the people. Hydron, though. I really have to change that. Maybe I'll put him high B for now. I think you could argue he was an A tier player, though. Hydron was pretty nasty. This is this innovation? I don't remember. I feel like this is innovation. Who barely played. He played like May. He was like a May specialist. Right? Yeah, I think this is him. I think we just put him in no play time. He barely played. I don't really count him. He didn't really play that much, I feel like. He did play, but not that much. Ignore the the Hunter's jersey. This is Jimmy, though. I think Jimmy gets like a solid B. He came in, he rolled, he conquered. My man, obviously an S tier player, the GOAT. I mean, with that kind of name, you're the best player ever. But, Jimmy's around this range. Man was feasting. Yeah, Jimmy popped off. Nothing but good things to say. And now, speaking of Jim, now we'll add Jinmu in. This is where things get kind of scuffed. Jinmu, I think, is also a B tier player. He didn't really do anything out of this world, but he showed decent flexibility, all things considered, playing on the things he wasn't the most comfortable on. His Genji was still good. Had a lot of games where he was a big-time contributor. I think a Jinmu B tier is pretty solid. I can't really put him where I want to in the ranking. Like, he'd probably be more towards the middle, but it's kind of scuffed to do that because, you know, he is a image and not part of the actual layout. So, YOLO. We'll just put Jinmu off to the side and add him after. He's a B tier, though. Okay, chat. Jinmu's a B tier. I mean, a tier for finale below no playtime. Oh, great. It's the biggest finale hater of all time. Here he is. Hogs is here. Kai. Kai kind of fell off in the second half of the season. I thought Kai was excellent. I mean, Kai was like MVP level during the first half. Second half, not as good, but still good. Like, definitely not a bad player, just not quite as noticeable. His Sojourn was, like, arguably the best for a long time, and then he wasn't. So, I don't know what happened. I think you could argue an A or a B, though. Like, he was, like, a borderline, like, high A when he was at his best, but then, like, around B when he started to fall off. I think a B plus is probably where I'm going to put Kai. He just wasn't as good in the second half of the season. You could maybe argue low A as well, though. I'll put him high B for now. Kai struggle and Sojourn became less of a poke hero, as we saw throughout the season. Yeah, fair point. Kevster, that's just easy. We're our first S tier of the video / stream if you're watching live. Kev is an easy peasy S tier. MVP player, got some of the most votes amongst everyone. Pretty flexible for the most part. Tracer was God tier. You could play Genji, you could play literally whatever you needed. Enough said in that regard. Kevster is consistent, flexible, superstar in this league. Easy clap. Kevster Reaper wasn't that good. Yeah, it's true, but that was like 4 games, so. Didn't Kev literally get more votes than, like, proper for a role star? At least similar. He got, like, I know some of the most MVP votes. He was a beast. Kilo. I think Kilo's, like, a B tier. I'm gonna move things around. I'm gonna put Ants here. Move Doha here. Kilo's, like, around this area. I appreciate how Kilo played. Hmm. No, he's probably better than Easy On. It's probably more fair. I had big hopes for Kilo coming from O2 Blast. Yeah, he was slightly disappointed, but he was still good. He was by no means bad. He had his moments where he was terrifying. I think especially at the beginning of the season, like during that Merit and Kilo debate, a lot of people really thought Kilo was better because he looked like it. He really did look like it at the start, you know? Good Widowmaker. His Sojourn was decent enough. He was good. He was good. This is King. King was pretty underrated. My man King put in the work on that Genji. I mean, he's a S tier because he's King, obviously, but he's probably like a B or a C. Yeah, Aspire meant more to the team. I'll give King a C. Sure. Put him there. King was good. Maybe Bob Assassin, something like that. You get the idea. I didn't know any Titans players, honestly. Yeah, King has a ton of potential. I'm kind of hoping somebody picks him up. It doesn't look like it, but he was good. Leave now is a hard one. Leave is hard. Definitely a step below his MVP season, multiple steps. Not all his fault, in all fairness, because Chengdu were a wreck. But in general, he wasn't as noticeable. He could still play just about anything his team did. He had his performances on the Sojourn and the Tracer where he stood out. But I wasn't that impressed. I don't remember him that much, because I think it's maybe because Chengdu always felt very middle of the pack, very middle of the road. They'd have their ups and downs. They'd like lose 3 in a row, win 2 in a row. You know, that's like what they always did consistently. I don't know if I could put Leaf below a lot of these guys, though. He was still good. It's just not as noticeable. Yeah, Leaf literally had to do it all. I won't lie. But I still wasn't that impressed. I'll put Leave in the B tier range. We can reorder things afterwards. I'll put him like a high B or a low A. I don't think Leave was that good this year, though. Yeah. Wikipedia's rumoring Changun to NYXL. I believe it was Halo that actually leaked that on Twitter. Or something like that. That they're in conversations, potentially. Who's next to Fleta? That's Finale. Lip. I mean, yeah. Lip is a god. I'm going to put Lip above Kevster, personally. I know a lot of people say it should be Kevster above Lip, but I thought Lip absolutely carried the Dragons. Like, no question he was their hard carry. My man was an absolute god in the APAC region. He did everything for that team, and there are times where they were still losing. It was ridiculous. He was so good, man. Lip was so freaking good. He was so good. I love Lip. Beastly player. Nothing but good things to say about this man and what he did. The Dragons still ended up failing miserably, in spite of how much of a god he was, killing literally everything in sight. It's insane. Part of it is because Fleta wasn't as good. Didn't have as much help. This is Malthul. While underrated, just, you know, D tier. Didn't do much. That's sadly the fate of the Paris players. Yeah, Paris tier, exactly. Merit. Merit gets a solid A. There's going to be a debate on, like, if he's better than Happy or not. That's a big thing I've seen within the community. I thought, personally, he played a little better than Happy this year. Honestly, I'd probably put him above no, honestly, he might be above Hisu also. Can I lobby for Merit to be an S tier? I mean, you could make your argument, but I don't... Oh, this is hard. Merit was really good, man. Merit might be more towards the top of A. I think I prefer him over Checkmate and alpha. Merit was really, really good. He was an absolute monster on the Sojourn. Top tier. Beastly player. I mean, could even play like Ash. He did everything. Consistent player. Really good 1-2 punch with Pelican. My man's was a monster. Right next to Eddie. Yes. Merit is low S? Nope. In my opinion, no. This should be MN3. MN3 is a weird one because at his peaks, he was like, you know, reaching that S range at his peaks. But the problem was he didn't reach them very often. Inconsistency is the name of the game. He reminds me of like an old Happy, or like Happy when he was younger. I don't know if I'd put him A. Like, at peak, he was like A. But the problem, he wasn't always hitting that peak. Oh, it's a hard one. MN3 is a really, really hard one. I think I feel comfortable putting him in A because he generally was pretty important to the Fusion's success. But inconsistencies are going to make me put him at the low A range. Naga, D tier. Just came back, and what is Jinmu doing? Well, the thing is, I forgot to add Jinmu to the tier list, so we're kind of just putting him in there. You know, he's kind of just vibing in B tier, because he can. Nero. Nero gets a solid B, IMO. Did his thing. Wait, did Naga only play 2 games? Oh, I thought he played more. If he only played 2 games, he's going to no playtime. That's my bad, chat. I really forgot. Maybe it's because Paris were so bad and everything kind of meshed together. Yeah, we'll put Naga on no playtime. It's a good catch. Nero was tragically bad. I'm sorry. I disagree personally. I thought Nero did his thing. Nothing out of this world, but I think like a low B is pretty good for Nero. I liked how Nero played for his job. You know, everyone knows it was mostly just the speedily waiting room. We all knew what his job was going to be in that season to kind of bridge the gap. So, yeah. Solid, reliable, nothing out of the ordinary, though. He did his thing badly, but he done it. Patty Pan. I've heard some people say he is not rated high enough, and I've heard a lot of people in the community say he is overhyped beyond belief. I think Patty, when he played, was good. Good soldier. I think he picked it up especially, like, after the first couple of weeks. He really picked up his game. Pretty critical in helping the Gladiators win back-to-back tournaments. Reliable, flexible, smart. Gotta jump out for some scrims. Alright, sounds good, Hogs. Unspoken Riz right there. Honestly, I'm putting Patty in low A. Maybe that's a hot take, but I thought Patty was pretty damn good for Gladiators when he played. Pelican, A tier. Pelicans, I really think of Pelican around like Merit level, like they were around the same. You could maybe argue Pelican's better than Eddie. I'm probably not going to. Maybe that's my bias of talking about the playoffs too much, but I think Pelican is like A. High A. Love the way that Pelican played. Another guy that's a jack of all trades, can do anything you ask of him. Genji, Echo, he's good on everything. There's the Hanzo. Love me some Pelican. Monster player. Edison is super inconsistent. I disagree personally. Pineapple? Yeah, he is the GOAT for that name, I won't lie. I was kind of hoping he would play more, to be honest with you. I liked how Pineapple was in Contenders. Who's the dude before Shax? That is Psycho. Pineapple, he did play a decent bit towards the end of the season. Even in the playoffs he played. SpongeBob's house. True. Good tracer. But I felt like he was mostly just a specialist. He did what he was supposed to. Pineapple deserved more. I think Pineapple is like a B or like a C. I'll put him at top C. He just didn't play enough. I think a C range is good for him. He was good when he played. Maybe not high. That's fine. You know, he's... Oh, God. Not D. Did not mean to do that. Sorry, Pineapple. I might need to move Fleta down. I think I'm rating him too high, maybe. Prophet? This is always a big debate within this community with Prophet. Some people overrate him. Some people overhate him. Prophet is a really hard one, always, in my opinion. I don't really know. He's like one of the most polarizing figures within this community. Some people are like, oh, he's easily yes. And other guys are like, what are you talking about? He's A tier at best, you know? Like, it's so hard with him. I thought Prophet was good this year. I think, like, low S is absolutely good for Prophet. He's in the MVP conversation. He carried Soul time after time. Him and Smurf went on rampages together. He's good at everything he did. It was weird when he played support for, like, that one stage, but it's whatever. Mostly DPS. So Prophet's S tier, definitely. Proper. I wonder where we can put Proper, chat. I really wonder where we can put him. Where would we possibly put this guy? Definitely the worst player in the Overwatch League. Proper is garbage. No, I'm kidding. In all seriousness, though, best DPS in the league. That's just not enough play time. True. Proper was so bad. He was just so terrible at this game. Imagine winning MVP when you got carried by your team. Yeah, no, but Proper, in my opinion, and most people's opinions, best player in the entire freaking league. Proper in Zephyr's pocket. Yeah, true. It's hilarious. Yeah. S tier, probably the best player in the league. If not, like, top 2, probably in most people's eyes. Flex God, Tracer God, Sojourn God, you name it. Sam. Sam's a pretty interesting one. His playtime was, like, sporadic. There are times where he'd play a ton, times where he wouldn't play much at all. All things considered, when he did get his time to shine, I thought he did pretty good. Sombra could have been better, but Genji was good. Sam's Genji was pretty good. And even he played some Sojourn, he did okay with that as well. Never get Proper an Adderall prescription, he will turn into the higher power. I prefer Sam over Kilo. Yeah, some people do. I think Sam's probably a B tier. God, this B tier is getting very big. I have to make some changes. He's probably around where Kilo was. I think above Kilo is fair, chat, or like below Kilo, either one. I'll put them below Kilo personally, but they're about the same. I felt like their impact was relatively similar. Seeker. I think Seeker is underrated. I'll give Seeker a C tier. You could argue B, to be honest. I thought Seeker was good, though. He looks pretty Chad-like. I won't even lie to you. This man's an absolute Chad. I think he follows me on Twitter. Shout out to Seeker. Absolute madman. Although if I'm putting Onsen B, maybe I should put... I don't know. He probably had about as much impact as Nero, though. I think I'm going to move... I'm starting to not like Onsen B. I think I'm going to put Ons high C. Psycho. This is Psycho, by the way, because for whatever reason, they did not have his OWL profile picture anywhere. I could not find it on Google. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but I literally could not find it. I thought Psycho was D tier, though. Doesn't really matter. He didn't get to play much, but when he did, I was unimpressed. Seeker's so goated that he's higher tier than Fleta. What a Chad. Yeah, Seeker was good, man. I don't know. Maybe I'll put Seeker in C after. There's going to be some reorganizing, no doubt. Shax. I'll give Shax a C. I think a C. I definitely can't put him D. He's like in the same vein as like a Pineapple kind of player, you know? Shax just did his thing. He played Tracer, and that was basically it. Like, you could argue he's B for what he did with his job, but he only had one job. And he wasn't that amazing. He just did his thing. Shax was on London. See, that's exactly what I mean. Some people don't even realize. Pineapple is Chinese Shax? Yeah, pretty much. This is Shockwave. I don't really remember Shockwave and what he did on Titans. Maybe it's because Titans were terrible, but I don't remember him. Aspire is always the DPS that stood out for Titans. Shockwave wasn't bad, though. He had some moments on, like, 76, right? He was okay. I'll give Shockwave a C. Shockwave, no playtime. How much time did Shockwave play? I thought it was, like, a decent bit, wasn't it? Or am I tripping? Am I, like, mad tripping? Did Shockwave just, like, never play ever? Shockwave was a DPS. Hang on. Playtime check. Well, he's not still in the league anymore. This includes people who left mid-season, retired. Anyone who is in the league at some point this year is on this list. He left mid-August, first half of the season. I mean, it should be good, right? I think he probably played enough to get ranked, right? Why'd he even leave? Titans just dumped him for some reason. Anyway, Shy is going to be up next. I think Shy is an easy S tier. Shy was a freaking madman. You could even argue maybe above Prophet in terms of, like, carry. I personally preferred Prophet, just well-rounded season from him. But dear Lord, Shy was so freaking disgusting. Oh my god, his Sojourn. You could argue best in the league. You know, for a long time in my best player for every hero, I almost picked Shy. Because I thought Shy really was that ridiculous this year. Jeez, man. Shy absolutely destroyed everyone in his path. And without him, I don't even want to know where the Spark finish. I really don't want to know. It's a scary thought. What a beast, man. Sparkle. I love Sparkle in A. I don't think he was quite S. He wasn't as good as, I think, his previous couple of seasons. But I still thought Sparkle was really good. A lot of you guys think S. See, I personally disagree. I think Sparkle, it was more so of like a coordinated effort than like Sparkle carrying compared to the previous seasons. Like in 2020, 2021, higher impact. I think it's still fair to put Sparkle like high A, but I'm not going to give him S. Sparkle B? No, definitely not B. Good Genji, you know, good Reaper. I don't think that Sparkle gets an S tier, personally, though. Sparkle D tier Tracer. Oh, are you talking about the meme? I feel like you're trying to talk about the meme. Maybe I'm wrong. This tier list is getting quite large. We're down to our final stretch, though. This is it. This is Sparker. Profit greater than Sparkle feels wrong, though. Yeah, it could feel wrong for some people, but I just have a preference for Profit. Sparker, you could argue, is A. It's like in that same range as like Patty Pin. I thought Sparker was pretty good at Sojourn, man. He was a good hit scan. I'll stick Sparker in low A. Screw it, man. In my opinion, he was the best player on London. A lot of people say it's Hottie or like Landon maybe, Backbone, but I was big on Sparker. He lived up to his potential that he had from a couple of years ago. Love the way Sparker played. Very consistent player. Really good individually. Kind of hoping London bring him back. Sparker was the best for sure. I wouldn't say Sojourn was awful, that's for sure. Speedily didn't really do that much. I mean, it was like maybe like a little better than Nero, maybe. He didn't play a ton, but I think Speedily just gets a low B. Didn't really do much He played Echo, did his thing. It was okay. Speedily's a solid C. Okay, that's the thing. If I put Speedily C, then I feel like I have to put Nero C. Because they were around the same level. I really didn't notice much of any difference. I might have to go back to that. This is Stalker. Stalker was like in and out of the rotation, but he was reliable. I thought he had some inconsistencies on the Genji. His Sojourn was pretty darn good, underrated in fact. I feel like Stalker should be in the B range. You could argue Stalker's A tier though. Oh. But do I consider Stalker to be better than like some of these players? Like, oh man. Like, do I think he was better than Leave this year? I think he's better than Hydron. Like, he might be. Ooh, that's a toughie. I think you can make a solid argument for either. He was damn flexible. He was a damn flexible player. Pretty high win rate, I believe, as well. Whereas Striker, he is coming up. I don't know what I want to do with Stalker, chat. If he played more, he'd be an A. I feel like because he wasn't always a consistent starter, I'm going to put him B, but I might change my mind. He's like top of B. Stalker was really good. He might be A, though. Oh, it's hard. Chat, it's hard. I don't know. I'll put him B for now. We'll just finish up the list, then we'll make edits. Well, I'll make edits, but you get the idea. Striker, I think, is a B tier as well. I thought outside of Reaper, he just... I don't know. No, I don't think you're tripping at all. I think Striker is a B tier, to be honest with you. I don't really think he's much better than, like, Leave or Kai. He just played fine in the playoffs, but what else did he really do? When Shock picked him up, he didn't play that well at first. He wasn't good on Boston. That definitely is something you have to take into account. Yeah, unironically, his Reaper was ridiculously good. His performance in the Grand Finals was good, but you have to consider more than one game to rank somebody. I think Striker's in the B range, though, personally. Good, not great. Valentine. Mid. Valentine's like just a C. You can stick him where you wish, I guess. You know, just a C tier player. Very, very, very average. Didn't really do much of anything. He had a couple of pop-off moments that I guess keeps him out of like D, but he kind of just vibed. He existed. Why is Jinmu out of the list? Because I forgot to add him when making this tier list maker, so he is currently just a PNG image floating around. He's in B tier, though. Valentine better than Carpe? Sure, there you go. Venom. Venom's another weird one because he was just a specialist. It's the same thing as like Shax or Doha, like where he had very specific uses. He was really good at what he did, though. I have to give him credit for that. Atlanta Reign, especially, I think it was mid-season madness, played a pretty pivotal role in their tournament run. His Tracer was pretty nice. Venom literally was Korean Shax. I think Venom gets like a C. I wouldn't really put him B because his playtime is very sporadic, but I think a C for Venom is pretty fair. Victoria, I think you could argue is either C, maybe even D. I thought Victoria was kind of bad. I won't lie. It's the same thing as Valentine, though, to be honest, where it's like he has his moments, but most of the time he's just vibing and not contributing. Do I think he was worse than Valentine? Yes. I definitely do think he was worse than Valentine. I guess you could argue he's C, though, I guess. I'll put him bottom C. He could be D, though, I don't know. Who are you? Specialist again, but he actually did play a pretty important role in the Dragons winning games. So I think because of that, he probably gets B. It's hard to rank someone like Who Are You, though, because he literally only played Genji. But he was really good and helped them win a title. So I think you have to put him in B. I just don't know where, because he only played one hero. It's so hard to judge someone who only plays one hero. Like, maybe you want to put him in, like, this range, like, near Jimmy and, like, Decay, I guess, above Decay. Like, do you want to put him here? Sure. I guess. But, like, there's not much else to say. Wub, D tier. I like Dove slightly more, but doesn't really matter. Wub, D tier. This is Exy. I know he's in a Dallas uniform, but I could not find him in a Florida uniform anywhere. Exy, I think when he played for Florida, he was fine. I think Exy's probably B. He just got benched for someone who was playing more consistently. You know, I liked Exy and how he played, though. He was pretty explosive at times when he got the chance to. So, you could put him, like, here, you know, around this range. He was fine. This is Yaki. Yaki carried New York a good bit. It's not like it mattered, because they still sucked, but Yaki did his best. Where do you think Hesong will be in this list in his rookie year? Should be high up. I'm going to say Yaki's probably like the B range. Yaki did really good, all things considered. Definitely a fall off compared to like his Florida years, but of course he's going to fall off when he plays for a team that horrible. Can't exactly blame the guy. You know, he's like around this area-ish. You know, smack dab. Maybe a little higher, you know. Around this range. Sure. And then finally we have Zest. Our last player on the tier list. Again, sorry if I missed anyone. I think I covered just about everyone that played, but yeah. Zest, I think you either could argue C or A. Or C. I just said C instead of S. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, chat. You could say S, arguably. I'm going to say A personally, because I don't really consider him to be like a top 5 DPS player. But I think you could put him somewhere in the A range. He's probably high A. He carried a lot, I won't lie. Zest carried big time. I feel pretty comfortable giving him a high A. I think an A+ is pretty reasonable for Zest. Because Who Are You? Only played Genji. It's something you have to remember. But Zest was not only really good at Genji, but he also played a really good Tracer. He played a really good Echo. Very versatile, strong player. Even made the MVP conversation. Oh, I picked up Stalker? Oh, Jesus Christ. For God's sake. Wait, where was he? Oh, God, I lost him. Oh, he's right here. I picked up Stalker by mistake. For the love of God. Where was I putting him again? Like here. He might even be better than Sparkle. Maybe he is better than Sparkle. Eh. Put him there. I like Sparkle. Is that last one Jinmu? Yes, it is. Jinmu, I forgot to add into the tier list, but I wanted to include him because chat was asking where he was. Where would I put Jinmu? Just as like a... I think I'd probably fit him like mid B, you know. Jinmu's probably around here, but it looks awkward putting him up like in front of people, so just imagine he's in B. He's like mid to low B. He was good for what he did though. Now, do I want to make any changes? I think I like this list how it is though, chat. My Papega tier list. I like where it's at. So I think this is where I'm going to leave it. If you're watching on the video and not the VOD or the stream, give the video a like, subscribe, check out the link in the description if you want to try out the tier list for yourself. And I'll catch you guys in the next one for some more tier list, that being YouTube, not you chat, talking about the viewers. Hi, YouTube. Smile. Yeah, there'll be some more very soon. In the near weeks, we'll do tanks as well as supports. So I'll catch you guys in that one.